Zanu Amen. Merino kubatana. Amen. Merino kubatana. Amen. Merine kwaru sangano. Amen. Merine kwaru sangano. Amen. Pasne mandu. Pasne mandu. Merine zambi. Amen. Merine zambi. Amen. Merino kubatana. Amen. Merino kubatana. Amen. Viva Zambi. Viva. Viva Zambi. Viva. Pasne mandu. I'm sorry, Chairman. I'm sorry, Commissary. I'm sorry, Zanu Pf branch Canada, branch Momo USA. My colleagues wangu newe nao, perhaps can I Musumkai introduce? Minister Comrade Shara, a member of the Politburo, Professor Murira, Minister
Higher and tertiary education, innovation, science and technology development.
Charity in my office. Dr. Lowe, Minister of Primary and Secondary Education. Ambassador Isaac Moyo in my office. Dr. Sekai Zenza, Minister of Industry and Commerce. Chairman of ZIDA, Musiso Moyo. I'm happy that where is the ambassador?
I'm here.
Okay. So it's anoziva kuti ndiri munhu musangano ndokuisa musangano imwe yose mberi uku kuti apedzise neweZanu Pf kuziva kuti handingamborambi. So I'm happy to be with you, comrades. Back home, kubva November 2017, takafunga kuti we have sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe, and I will explain the basis of those sanctions. At the time, this is about 21 years ago, when these sanctions were imposed on Zimbabwe, it was when President George Bush here had problems with Iraq. And in the United Kingdom, there was Tony Blair who had problems with Zimbabwe and Mnangagwa. So George Bush could not get the support of the United Nations Security Council to support his mission against Iraq. And so he asked Tony Blair to support him on Iraq, whilst Tony Blair asked George Bush to support Tony Blair on Zimbabwe. That's how these two countries impose sanctions on us. We still have the sanctions by the US, ZIDERA, sanctions by the United Kingdom. Just to tell you something, when the Queen passed on recently, we were invited, I was invited to go and write my condolences at the British Embassy in Harare. So my foreign minister and his team went to the embassy to receive me, and he tells me that the Australian ambassador was there and Canadian ambassador were there waiting for me to come. But I then sent a message to the foreign minister and his team to come back because I was not coming. The reason is the United Kingdom imposed sanctions on us, and we cannot go to the United Kingdom because of the sanctions. So I said, in terms of the Geneva Convention, the embassy is a territory of the United Kingdom, and I didn't want to breach the sanctions. So when the minister told the British ambassador, oh no, there are no sanctions. The president is free to come here, there's no sanctions. The sanctions on Zimbabwe. I said, okay, Zimbabwe can never walk to the UK or to the embassy. But the head of state is the personification of Zimbabwe. So still, I cannot violate the territory of the United Kingdom and the embassy. At the time we were in Angola. We were in Angola. So we insisted until they made a formal invitation saying that no, I can go to the embassy, formal invitation, and there is nothing, I will not contravene anything. Then he persuaded me to go, and I agreed. So I went to the embassy to sign the book. Then I had a formal invitation to the funeral. Then I said, okay, I'd assigned my ambassador, Keno Skatsande, to represent Zimbabwe at the funeral. Then I said, okay, I sent a message to him, to the UK government, that I'm upgrading my representation from ambassador to minister. So I sent the minister. I'm saying this to show that we should not be moved around like little boys. Yes. However, when the Second Republic came in, we decided to have targets. The first target we decided on was that we must be food secure in Zimbabwe within a specified period. We took about 5 seasons, that we were able to secure that in 4 seasons. To do that, what we did was to say, how much grain do we consume per year as a country? We use about 2.2 million. Let me just say 2 million metric tons of grain, maize per year, plus 500,000, 500,000 metric tons of grain as strategic reserve. That gives us 2.5 million metric tons of grain per year. Then we say, how many hectares of land do we need under irrigation to produce that amount of grain? Then you say, if each hectare produces, in terms of yield, 5 tons, so how many hectares would you want to produce that amount of grain? So we came to see that we needed at least 350,000 hectares of land under irrigation, so that whether there is drought or there is no drought, the 350 hectares under irrigation would give us enough grain for the year plus a surplus of 500,000 metric tons. So we went on a program to achieve that, and we've achieved it. In terms of food security, it's now behind us. We've secured that. Then the next thing was that I'm still looking at agriculture. We have been importing wheat from Ukraine throughout. We've been producing wheat, but only for 2, maximum 3 months of wheat at local level. Local production would only give us either 2 months, maximum 3 months. So again, we apply the same model to say how many hectares of land we need in winter under irrigation to give us the 340,000 metric tons needed for a year for bread and other confectionaries. We determined the number of hectares needed, and whereas in the past we were only producing for 3 months, from now on, last season, we have now produced 13 months of supply. Which means that we have now achieved, in terms of grain, we are food secure. In terms of bread and confectionaries, we are now secure. Or putting it the other way, in terms of summer cropping, we have enough, we are secure. Whether there's drought or there's no drought, we will still get enough food. In terms of winter cropping, again, we have put the model, we have enough. Whether the winter is severe or not severe, we still achieve what we want. Now, which means that the issue of food security is
Yes.
right. Nzara ichibva nokoko wozvibva nokoko nzara inokona inotsauka. Then the next issue again is Minister Nzenza here? Yeah, I have my Minister Nzenza. We have been negating importing our, as I've said, our wheat from Ukraine, but importing our fertilizer from Russia. And these two countries are in some game. So it is not easy anymore. However, we didn't know that this would happen. So I gave mandate to my Minister of Industry and Commerce that we want to produce our own fertilizer. So 2 weeks ago, is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, yes.
2 weeks ago, we commissioned the first plant producing our own fertilizer. All this time, the ingredients for producing fertilizer are in the country, but we all are asleep. We didn't know we have the capacity to produce our fertilizer. So, in that area again, we are self-sufficient. Then, Bulawayo has a perennial problem of water supply. So we did 2 phases. The first phase, there is an aquifer in Namandovu area. So we put several, I think about 20 balls, all pumping into one station. By that, we were able to improve. Bulawayo uses about 155 megaliters of water per day. So we were perhaps about 60 megaliters per day at the time. So there was a serious deficit of water in Bulawayo. By doing that, we increased the amount of water for Bulawayo to where we had only now a deficit of about 10 megaliters. But then there is the Gwai Shangani Dam, which was planned in 1912. Except for me, most of you hadn't been born. This was planned in 1912. Nothing happened. So we took up on that one, and it's on. We are 42% now completion, and it will have. It will irrigate over 10,000 hectares. Because the water pipe from Shangani to Bulawayo, it's over 800 kilometers. On the site, we have created a green belt of over 10,000 hectares of irrigation. So again, which means that Bulawayo, once this is completed, because of next year, there will be no more issues with water supply in Bulawayo or in Matabeleland North. Then we have said we want to uplift. Oh, before I go to that one, we decided that every province must have a dam. You said Torashanga. No, one in Mashingo. It is completed. Yakapera, and we have plans now to irrigate about 40,000 hectares of grain. But that's so, just to give an example, we have in Marsh East and the Marsh and the Manicaland at the border, we built Chekeranwa Dam. When we were doing that, villagers, households around that place, about 49 households, were against the construction of the dam. We were able to persuade them, so we built the dam, it's finished. And we then made sure all the 49 households, we put irrigation for them with the pivots. So now they grow what they want in the winter and the summer. They now have electricity in their homes. They are able now to irrigate by their cell phones, because the pivots are state-of-the-art latest technology. We can switch on the pivots to irrigate, switch them off. We can switch on the pump and the dam to supply water. So, which means the 49 households are out of poverty. Now, we said we need to show that no one is left behind and no place is left behind. So we made a survey. We discovered that we have 35,000 villages in the country. 35,000 villages in the country. Now we have a program where every village, we have one, we did a satellite program in Mangwe. Mangwe is the district, the site is Makoroko, that's the site, yeah. We did that where I think about 150 to 160 families. We put balls and got a center. At the center there, we have a minimum hectare, maximum 2 hectares of horticulture. The families then are the workers there. We give them a qualified agronomist to run the place, and they get paid every month. We've built cold rooms for marketing the produce. So when you take out their produce, packaging, you may have things packaged. You buy here from Zimbabwe. There's a package, mangoro, reserve, properly done, well standard, it's done there. Then the villagers, you have the solar driven. Then electricity goes to every single village. Now, we realize that this is possible. Now, out of the 35,000 villages which we have in the country, is Professor Tuli here? He's not in here. So, we said to Professor Tuli, we want every single village to have that facility. So we need a board at each village powered by solar. To do so, it will take us many years. So we decided to buy rigs. To buy rigs. We have so far been able to buy 40. And you understand we have 8 rural provinces. So we'll continue buying because the professor is very stingy with his money. But we're able to buy 40 rigs, which we distribute from provinces. If each rig can do at least 10 balls in a month, so you say 10 times 40, which means you will have 400 balls every month. 400 balls every month times 12. That is correct. 4,800 every month. This is the minimum. It is possible to do more than 10 balls a month if we buy more rigs. Now, just with the 40 rigs, we would need to have, so that we need to have 10 rigs in each province as a base. Down the line, each district will have its own rig. So we calculate that in 3 years, there will be no village in Zimbabwe without a solar-powered bore with a garden for the women. That is the philosophy of leaving no one and no place behind. You mentioned about Mwenezi Mapura. Kumwenezi, my man there, Ambassador is from Mwenezi. Akakura Mapura vachipikisana nembudzi pamapfura. Now we created innovation hubs at every state university and the Second Republic. All the 17 state universities, there's an innovation hub which we fund. And then beyond the hub, there is an industrial park. What happens is that, you see, we challenge our boys and girls at universities to pursue science and technology. Those who have any ideas, who want to invent a product or a service, the money is there, the building is there, the facilities are there. Nice. We don't care whether we fail or we succeed, but the facilities are there. And within the last 2.5 years or so, we have now patented patents of over 500 patents from students on various products. These were the same boys and girls who did the research on Mapura. And as a result of that research, as a result of these hubs we have, innovation hubs we have built a plant in Mwenezi, where our technicians, engineers, these same young boys and girls in the countryside there's electricity, they have clean water, good housing, and they are now producing amarula. Concept of rural industrialization. When you were opening, commissioning it, I got the young boys and those guys, my friend, because because our education is not for person, we don't produce products to go and look for employment. We must produce the students who create employment and employ themselves, who create services. They promised me, I was there with my Vice President UNGA, so they promised with Amdara. No more whiskey that vakomana vakandivisa kuti vachaprodusa whisky kumwenezi kwete kuScotland kumwenezi gamunenge maprodusa ndofana kuti uye kunababa kuzoralia uye mtoko I think you all know. Mutoko usually they grow horticulture, but tomato, cabbage, peas, and so on. But now they were carrying these things kumbari overnight and so on. When they say kumbari, that is a thing of the past. So we went there and they put a plant for processing tomatoes and other horticulture products and packaging. So you find there a wall like this one with long benches, with girls and boys in white, packaging, sealing, and then they go to supermarkets, find them everywhere. If you go to London, you find package from Zimbabwe. So I can go on and go on and go on. I said you should stand up. Cotton. We produce cotton. But then only about 30% or 35% of our cotton can be processed in the country. The other 70% of our cotton, we export it raw. So we need value addition, beneficiation of our cotton. So we think that most of you who are in the diaspora, especially those among you who have gained new skills, Zimbabwe is open for business. Come home and participate in the modernization and industrialization of your country. Sasa titi isuti munhu azive kuti ndemo Zimbabweans tinoti isu nyika inovakwa nevene vayo igotorwa nevene vayo. Hallelujah. Become very proud and very patriotic about your country. So I can go on and let me move on to other sectors of the economy. Mining sector. In when we took over, when I came to office in November 2017, our mining sector was giving us 2.7 billion a year. 2.7 billion US per year. So we decided to give attention to mining. Today, as I speak now, this last year, we had reached 7.7 billion a year. And the next year, we are totaling 12 billion a year. So from 2.7 billion in 2017, will be 12 billion next year for the mining sector. Huge jump in the 3.5 years, 4 years maximum. So in that area, that is our platinum, our lithium, our gold, our diamonds, what else? Chrome, and so on. In fact, if someone says, what minerals do you know? That's the wrong question. Say, what minerals don't you have? Yeah, because almost everything which decided to beat the records. So, but now, our focus is beneficiating those minerals. With lithium, we didn't know lithium was very important, but we now realize that it's important in the digital world of tomorrow. We will have motor cars, driven by batteries. I don't know that some sort. So we are now giving conditions that those who want to mine lithium in Zimbabwe, they must undertake to do the whole value chain, so that we benefit from that. We also have uranium in Zimbabwe, but of course we have not changed. Uranium inonetsa nokuti inozoita nuclear. Tikaipa ma-Americans marasha anosama, tikapa marasha anosama, tikapa anosama, tikati ngaigare haivori. Iriko apana watapa, tasitinayo. So we have victors in Australia. They could drill fuel. They are telling us that's very positive. And they're already drilling the well now, and it is part of the Kapora Paso Basin, the oil. So we think that we're going to have oil in our own oil in Zimbabwe, so that the infrastructure development. Now, what we should put in mind is that all these things we are doing, we have not tested alone. Everything is being done on the basis of domestic resources, mobilization of domestic resources. We felt that because of sanctions, our roads were poor compared to South Africa or neighboring states. So, but in the past, for instance, the road from Beitbridge, Masvingo, Harare, Chirundu. That's from Beitbridge to Harare. In the First Republic, we put to tender, and it cost us, they charged us about 2.9 billion US. So I said, no more foreign companies. We called our people, these are businessmen who are now industry business. We called our people and said, we want you to do the roads international standards, to not with their capacity. So we got 5 companies who volunteered, 5 companies, and we did a capacity them and said, okay, because this is your first time to do this type of work, we're 10 kilometers, 10. If you finish and it is respected and then you pass, we'll give you 20, next one is 20. Now, all of them now, no one is less than 60 kilometers. We are doing our roads. Those of you who have been home may have traveled on the areas where have been finished. That's from Harare, from Beitbridge to Harare. I think that's where I left about 20 kilometers or so or less for the entire road to be completed. But it's only 600 US dollars instead of 2.7, 2.9. Wow. Which foreign companies would have charged us. So you can see, kuti kana takapusa tinoriwa samatemba noriwa kashoma. We have capacity. We don't know how much our people, if they are challenged, they have capacity to deal with challenges. Even construction of dams, I know it's a tender, international tender. Toda kubaka dama pano kuna ndibana this bakai dama chekama Barwanyati Apera, several others under construction. Martins Edu, then we move on. Let's go to tourism. Of course, COVID came in and it almost collapsed. It was, from over 6 million visitors down to about 200,000. But now, since COVID has gone down. We have the tourism sector is not going like this. Like that. Tourism, it's expanding to an extent where now we are unable to accommodate our tourists in Victoria Falls. But was that there are buses would take them across to Zambia for sleeping. Mambana would talk because the water Victoria Falls is beautiful from the Zambia from the and we are looking forward for investments in that area. One of the constraints we have with the Victoria Falls now is that most of the source markets like Europe, they would want to see that there is medical facilities. Medical facilities, state-of-the-art medical facilities. We don't have that. But we're busy campaigning now. I've been doing so here in the States. I think around a period of 18 months to 2 years, we shall have state-of-the-art medical facilities in that area, so that we have more tourists in the area. And construction of more hotels and facilities, marshals and so on. And what we do is we see that the land belongs to the place they did. Get employment, create facilities for people. I want to do land, but land those cannot never kumaka ababaka unoda hafe hectare iyo kumaka tobona kutoreka diva nani. So we can go on and go on. We are happy that even, for instance, I was telling Dara group earlier on, in the state innovation hubs by University of Zimbabwe, we had 3 students, 2 girls and 1 boy, who decided to produce syringes, to produce syringes for Jungari. So they were able to do so. We were importing these syringes at 13 cents one. And these girls are producing the same 84 cents one. And go on and go on. We have national parks where if you have something you want to do, we give you free area to commercialize your product or your service until it is certified, then it goes into the market. So I'm happy that you are here and you have not forgotten that you come from Zimbabwe. And of course, as you said, no one will ataura kuti Zanu Pf ndo ine nhoroondo yehondo kusungura kwatakaita. Tanzwa mwati sikomene ndopi. Ndo ine nhoroondo yehondo kusungura kwatakaita. Takatanga ndikati takatanga kuenda 1962. 63, me and a group of my colleagues, out of that group, Egypt under Abdul Gamal that time. Then tikazobvako tikaenda kuChina kuNanking, the military academy, and I graduated in 64. And again, of that team, that's why I'm now 80 years old. But I always say I'm 100 minus 20. And I'm the only one, I think, in the region who is a member of the PLA. What the PLA is? No. Yeah, it's the Red Army. It's called the People's Liberation Army in China. Amen. So takarwa hondo tikazosumunuka munani na 1980 macomrades vakashaya vakakuwara vakawanda. The only way we can pay them macomrades atakasiya musango vamwe takavachengetera zvakanaka vamwe hatisi takachengetera kupi. The only way we can pay them ndezvokuti ngativakei nyika yedu. Hakuna watofanira kusiya sure, hakuna nzvimbo inofanira kusara sure. Tese ngatibatanei tivake nyika nokuti nyika inovakwa nevene vayo. Kuudzwa nevamwe vakavaka yavo kuti vatikudze mavakire edu. Pavayavaka yavo havana kuti. So ndosiyano iripo yeZanu Pf netumwe vanhu tatinonzwa namuda kwatiri, asi turiko tatinonzwa kuriko difference ndeyekuti isu pachedu tine shungu nokuvimba kuti tine basa rokuvaka nyika yedu, kwete kuti tifungire kuti kana ini ndikangopinda mupower in 5 days varungu vanozara. Hapana wakamuwana Mulungu achirota achivaka Zimbabwe. Urota achivakikwa. Tinofana kuvaka nyika yedu isu. Vanenge vada kutibatsira ngavauye vazotibatsira zvatinenge tichiita, kwete kutiudza kuti kozvoita zvakadaro, kwete kudzanai kwenyu tisachikuzana kwenyu. Hamdeni Zanu Pf, hamdeni Zanu Pf, hamdeni nokubatana, hamdeni nokubatana, asimandu. Saka tiri kuenda kuma-election kuenda mangwana. Ndindo kandoziva kuti rini asi vazhinji vanochemera kuti ndene madini vaitite diaspora vote voti vari kuno asi ndosvika ipapo izvo. Chokutanga nechokuti tairambidza kana masanctions ofamba kuti dzimwe nyika vamwe vedu anobvunza kudini tisi tinotonga hakuna imwe unouya kumushamodini regesta online asi pakuzovhota unenge uripo patairwa hondo taibuda dikita nokufa nokukuvara ndiudze akamubuda dikita nokutsepetera.